A lot of our first-time homebuyer clients would have bought their property in downtown because they were working downtown, but now they want more space. They want to be in a better school district. They want to have a garage parking spot, and they don't want to spend more than $1.4 million for a freehold home in Toronto. Then what they do is they sell their 416 condo, Toronto condo, and move into a freehold property in the 905. And if you look at this chart over here, this is the lowest multiplier of all of them. We're actually at 1.5 right now, and we're probably trending down to more. And that's mainly to do with the fact that a Toronto condo is more expensive than a 905 condo, generally speaking. And your 905 freehold is generally less expensive than your Toronto freehold. So that multiplier is actually very, very low. And if we look at the dollar amount to actually make that change from a Toronto condo to a freehold in the 905, you're looking at $330,000. It makes a lot of sense. And I'm going to go back to what I was saying before. If you waited out some more, you really have to ask yourself the question, do you think condos are going to appreciate at the same rate as freehold homes? If you've been wanting to sell your condo and move into a freehold home, whether that be a 3-bedroom town, a 3-bedroom semi, or even a detached home, now is the opportunity you have been waiting for. The gap, as what I'm going to call it right now, between a condo and a freehold home hasn't been this small in over 5 years. And with the way the market is heading, where freehold homes may stagnate or maybe appreciate a little bit, and then the condo is underperforming, that gap in the next few years could be getting bigger and bigger. And this is why I'm saying to you right now in this video, you should really look at the data I'm about to provide you to understand that the gap hasn't been this small in the last 5 years. So stay tuned to find out why this may be the opportunity you have been waiting for. Hi, my name is Zen. If you enjoy my number crunching and data-driven real estate updates, be sure to like and subscribe. So the chart you're looking in front of you right now is a chart I put together that has 3 important lines. The first one over here in the orange line is the price of a Toronto condo. This includes 1-bedroom, bachelors, and 2 bedrooms, but it's the average. And you can kind of see over here, and I've talked about this in the past before, we've kind of been stagnant in terms of pricing all the way going back down to 2019. Pretty flat. We had little peaks and valleys, but pretty flat. Now, your blue line I have over here is a Toronto freehold. So this includes your towns, semis, detaches, it's all of it over there. So right now you're probably looking at about 1,375 for a freehold home in Toronto. And you can see they have also been climbing up. They've been kind of going up and down as well. Now, the most important thing I'm going to show you right now is this line over here, which is the gray line. So I've called this the multiplier, and which is basically the ratio of how many condos it is to buy a freehold home. So let me show you an example using the highest point that we had over here, which is in 2017. This was the run-up of the boom in the market right before the foreign buyers tax. And you can basically see over here, I have the multiplier on the right-hand axis. And you can see in 2017, we almost got as high as 3 times, meaning that a freehold property would have costed you almost 3 times the price of a condo. Now, the reason that why it went back down is because, of course, the freehold properties came back down. But at the same time, in 2017, freeholds were down, but condo had their boom. So you can see in the orange line, condos kind of had their boom. And this is exactly why you can see that the gray line is going lower and lower. And at one point, it got below 2%. If you look at where we are right now, and this is why I'm saying we have an opportunity on our hands to upgrade from a condo to a freehold, you can see we are below 2 times multiplier. We're below 2 times multiply, which means that we haven't had an opportunity this good dating all the way back to 2018 when we got the stress test and after the foreign buyer tax to upgrade from a condo to a freehold home. Hey, it's me interrupting myself. Ready to make a move? Just one free call, no hassle, but decades of experience to work for you. Now, this may fluctuate in the next few months because a lot of freehold homes do sell in the springtime and it may spike up a tiny little bit, but we are nowhere close to the 2.5 that we saw in 2023. And the reason this is important is because the gap, like I was saying, is very, very small. Now, the reason why this may be a low point on the multiplier is because if you understand the market, the condo market right now is underperforming, meaning prices are likely to come down and maybe stay flat at best. Whereas the freehold market is stagnant and we still may see more sales, maybe slight appreciation, maybe returning to the 10-year average. And the metric we always look at, or I have always preached about looking at, is the months of inventory. And let me show you exactly why I think this multiplier may get worse in the future. So you can see over here on my left-hand side, I have the freehold market, months of inventory. So again, town, semis, and detaches. On the right-hand side, I have months of inventory for condos. And the yellow box, so over here, is a balanced market where prices should be the same. They shouldn't move up, they shouldn't move down. And the condo market balance is right over here on the yellow side. And if it's in the green side, where it's a seller's market, it generally prices will be going up. So you can see seller's market historically has been where freehold properties have been in Toronto, and condos to an extent, except for the last few years. Now, if you look at this red box, which does not exist, but on the freehold side, but exists on the condo side, that's a buyer's market. So you can see over here that we have 6 months of inventory for the condo market, meaning prices should at best stay flat or come down if it gets any worse. And with the amount of inventory that's coming, like we've been talking about, I really don't think we're going to be seeing appreciation for condos in the next 18 months. However, if you look at the freehold home side, you can see that we are just under the 4 months of inventory, which means that, hey, maybe prices stay stagnant, but they may increase a little bit. So looking back at this chart, what all of this means is if you were to wait out your move from a condo to a freehold, your condo price may continue going down very flatly like this, but your freehold property may go up a little bit like this, which means that the gap here is going to widen. The multiplier is going to get bigger and bigger, meaning that your cost to upgrade to your freehold home is going to cost you more. Now this chart over here, I mapped out the actual dollar difference. And you can see over time, it has slowly gone up. And you can see right now, your cost to go from an average condo to an average detached is a little bit over $600,000. It was as high in 2021 post-pandemic as $1 million. So right now, that gap in difference is about $500,000. Do you see why I'm saying this may be that opportunity for you to move there? So if you apply what I just said about where pricings may go for condos and freehold, just imagine what's going to happen to the dollar difference. If your condos are trending down in pricing, your freeholds are trending up in pricing, what's going to happen is this difference between the two is going to be increasing. How much it's increasing, I don't know. And this is why I'm saying this is exactly why there's an opportunity for you to go from a condo to a freehold. Now, this is specifically for if you're going to a Toronto condo to a Toronto freehold. But let's say you are trying to go into the 905 space. The numbers are a little bit different. So you can see here, the multiplier now is closer to 1.5 times, which is much better than if you were to go from Toronto, because the Toronto multiplier is closer to 2. Now, one of the things with the 905 that I will point out to you, because you may not see in the nuances, is that the 905 peak price is very high. It was close to 1.6, whereas Toronto got to 1.8, and Toronto is more expensive. But your decline has been more substantiated because a lot of people are going back into the city. So that price drop to the average freehold right now is about like 1.1 mil. So it's much more reasonable. And that's why if you want to start a family in the 905 and have an entry-level freehold, it makes a lot of sense for you to make that move right now. If we were to look at the dollar difference from 905 condo to a 905 freehold, you can basically see we're at about like $450,000, which is really not that much relative to historical trends. We're definitely doing much better than we did in post-2017, much better than pandemic. And the only other time we saw that opportunity was between 2018 and 2019, where the stress test came in and after the foreign buyer tax, where people were really afraid to buy in the 905 because they thought it was going to have a major crash. And we're seeing sentiment similar to that right now. Now, this months of inventory chart is very similar to the one I showed you about Toronto, but instead we're now talking about the 905. So this is the freehold and this is the 905 condo. It's the exact same thing, more or less, with the difference in that the 905 freehold right now is in a balanced territory where things 100% should be stagnating or maybe they're coming down. Whereas in the 905 condo, the months of inventory is roughly the same thing. So prices should be coming down. And this is almost the exact same setup like we have in Toronto. It makes a lot of sense to go from your condo to your freehold right now. But what if you are going from a Toronto condo to a 905 freehold, which a lot of our clients are doing right now? Because what happens is a lot of our first-time homebuyer clients would have bought their property in downtown because they're working downtown, but now they want more space. They want to be in a better school district. They want to have a garage parking spot, and they don't want to spend more than $1.4 million for a freehold home in Toronto. Then what they do is they sell their 416 condo, Toronto condo, and move into a freehold property in the 905. And if you look at this chart over here, this is the lowest multiplier of all of them. We're actually at 1.5 right now, and we're probably trending down some more. And that's mainly to do with the fact that a Toronto condo is more expensive than a 905 condo, generally speaking. And your 905 freehold is generally less expensive than your Toronto freehold. So that multiplier is actually very, very low. And if we look at the dollar amount to actually make that change from a Toronto condo to a freehold in the 905, you're looking at $330,000. It makes a lot of sense. And I'm going to go back to what I was saying before. If you wait it out some more, you really have to ask yourself the question, do you think condos are going to appreciate at the same rate as freehold homes? Quick sidebar, if you're buying but not sure where to start or what's even a good deal, just hit the link in the description below. Tell me what you're looking at and I'll break it all down for you. No fluff, no BS, just real talk from a human and not just another chatbot. I've already shown you that the condo space for both the Toronto condos and the 905 condos are in a much worse position than they are on their counterparts for the freehold side. So you ask yourself, which one is going to outperform the other in the next 2-3 years? If you ask me, as I've been preaching in this video, the freeholds are going to outperform the condo, which means that your multiplier is going to get bigger and bigger. That gap I've been talking about is going to get bigger and bigger. This is exactly why this right now is an opportunity to move from a condo to a freehold if you understand the data I am showing you right now. If you want more data and analysis on why getting into the freehold space makes a lot of sense, check out this video over here where I talk about the Liberals' plans to create 500,000 new properties and how more than half of them are going to be rental properties, meaning low-rise, ground-based homes, your freehold homes I've been talking about in this video, are going to become more and more scarce. And I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, your move, your future. See ya!